He had drunk poison every day for 40 years to stop this exact moment. And tonight, when he finally needed it to work, the poison did nothing. Outside, his own son's soldiers waited. The empire he built was already gone. Mithridates VI, Pharnaces II, a father, a son, and 40 years of poison that ended in a single sword. Pontus, a kingdom on the Black Sea coast, Greek learning, Persian blood, and a dynasty obsessed with one thing: survival. When Mithridates was 12, his father, King Mithridates V, held a banquet for his closest friends. One of those friends had poisoned the wine. The boy watched his father die in front of him. He never forgot the way the cup hit the floor. His mother took the throne as regent. She did not love him. Within months, he vanished into the mountains. He spent 7 years hidden among the highlanders, hunting, sleeping in caves, and learning the one craft no other king would touch: arsenic, hemlock, aconite, every venom the Greeks and the Persians had ever named, in doses so small they barely burned. Every morning, he drank a little more. His body shook, his vision blurred. He did not stop. At 19, he walked back into Sinope. His mother and his brother both died inside a year. He was 20 years old. He was king of Pontus, and in his pocket, every day for the rest of his life, he carried a vial. Every sunrise, one sip, for 40 years, without exception. Word spread that the king of Pontus could not be poisoned. Assassins gave up. His body had become a fortress. He pushed his borders across the Black Sea, Anatolia, the Crimea, the Caucasus, 500,000 men under his banners. To the west, the Roman Republic was bleeding the province of Asia dry. The locals hated them. In secret, Mithridates sent letters to every Greek city in the east. One sealed instruction, one single day: kill every Roman, man, woman, child, on the same morning. It was called the Asiatic Vespers. In a single day, 80,000 Roman civilians were dragged from their homes and killed. Rome had never been so insulted in the East. The Senate voted for war. The first general Rome sent was Sulla, the dictator who would bathe Rome in his own blood after he was done with Mithridates. Sulla took Athens. He took the islands. He pushed Mithridates back to the sea. They met at Dardanos. Mithridates gave up half his empire. Sulla had bigger fish in Rome. Mithridates waited, rebuilt, 20 years. He could afford to. He was never going to die of poison. The Second War came. Rome sent Lucullus, disciplined, careful, brilliant. He chased Mithridates across Armenia for 7 years. He lost battles, he lost cities, he lost sons, but every time Rome thought he was finished, he came back. But there was one thing Mithridates never planned for, and it was sleeping under his own roof. His name was Pharnaces, the favorite son, the chosen heir, the one who had watched his father survive everything. Mithridates had already executed 2 sons for plotting. Pharnaces had been watching that too. And then Rome sent its sharpest blade, Pompey the Great, the man who finished wars other men could not. Pompey didn't chase, he surrounded. He cut every supply line. He squeezed. At the river Lycus, Pompey attacked at night. The Pontic army was destroyed in a few hours. Mithridates escaped with a few hundred riders. He was 63 years old. He was not done. He did something no Roman would have imagined. He crossed the Caucasus Mountains in winter, on foot when the horses died. He reached the Crimea, the Bosporan kingdom. His son Pharnaces was already ruling there for him, or so he thought. He had a new plan: march north, around the Black Sea, cross the Danube, invade Italy from the back. His own soldiers stared at him. 40 years of war, crossing Europe to die in Italy. They had nothing left. Pharnaces had been waiting for this. The day his father's army would finally believe his father was insane. Quietly, to a handful of officers, he offered them peace, Roman gold, a kingdom, a future. It spread in a single night. By dawn, the whole army had switched sides. They lifted Pharnaces on their shields. They put a crown on his head. They acclaimed him king. A breathless messenger reached the old king's tower. He spoke 5 words. "My lord, the army has turned." He walked to the window. He looked down. Pharnaces' troops filled the courtyard. Every gate, every wall. There was no army left to call. 2 of his daughters were with him, Mithridates and Nyssa. They had nowhere left to run either. He poured 2 cups. He had carried this vial his whole life. His daughters drank without a word. They went to sleep on the cold tower floor within minutes. He sat between them for a long time. He did not cry. He had used those tears 40 years ago. Then he poured what was left into his own cup. He drank the same poison that had just killed his children. He waited for the warmth in his stomach, the blur in his eyes, the slow, easy sleep he had given his daughters. Nothing came. 40 years of poison, every morning, 1 sip. His body had forgotten how to die. Outside, his son's soldiers began to climb the stairs. Only one man was still in the chamber with him, a Gaul, his bodyguard, Bituitus. Mithridates looked up at him. He said one sentence, "Do for me what the poison will not." Bituitus did not refuse. He drew his sword. And the king who could not be poisoned died like every other man, by a sword. A father, 2 daughters, and a Gaul who had no king left to serve. They told Pharnaces at dawn. He gave no reaction. He had already decided what to do with the body. He had his father's body embalmed, wrapped in royal purple, placed on a sealed cart with a gold escort. And then he sent the cart to Pompey. Pompey opened the coffin. He had been chasing this man for years. Now this man was a gift from his son. He did not laugh. He did not boast. He ordered a royal burial, a worthy enemy, even in death. Pharnaces walked into Pompey's camp on his knees. Rome made him king of the Bosporus, the price of 1 father. For 16 years, Pharnaces ruled in peace. He grew fat. He grew bored. He started to remember his father. Then Rome tore itself apart, Caesar against Pompey. The east was empty of legions. Pharnaces saw his chance. He marched into his father's old kingdom. He crowned himself again, king of Pontus. In Alexandria, Julius Caesar read the report. He sighed. He turned his legions east. Caesar covered the ground in days. He arrived at a small Anatolian town called Zela, 47 BC. Pharnaces charged uphill. Caesar's legionaries broke him in less than 4 hours. The Battle of Zela was the shortest war Rome ever fought. Caesar wrote 3 words to the Roman Senate, the most famous war report in history. "I came, I saw, I conquered." Pharnaces escaped the field. He limped back to his Crimean kingdom. He had nothing left. His own governor of the Bosporus, a man called Asander, was waiting for him with a small army of his own. They killed him in the courtyard. He was not embalmed. He was not sent in a purple cart. There was no Pompey to honor him. Mithridates was buried as a king. Pharnaces was buried as a problem. The father got the dignity, the son got the dirt. Mithridates spent 40 years building a body that no poison could kill. And in the end, the poison was not the thing he should have feared. He should have feared the boy who watched him do it. The son who learned what kind of father survives anything, and what kind of king has to be killed by his own guard. The man who could not be poisoned, killed by a knife in his own tower, and the son who held the knife was already buried in the dirt before Rome ever had to ask his name.